Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Welcome to the first lecture of non-fictional prose. I have introduced to you the basic ideas of this course, and today we are going to be introduced to this to these notions, to these ideas in practice. Today we are going to be introduced to the first reading strategies, which is a very important strategy, and I call it ORWIT. ORWIT is an acronym. An acronym stands for different words. Well, I think this is very important because very few people do not apply this strategy, which is a very general strategy that you need in your daily life. If you apply ORWIT, I think it will help you a lot in reading any English book. So what does ORWIT mean? O stands for overview. So if you have a book, for example, this book, you overview the book. How do you overview the book? You read the title, you open the table of contents, and you see the titles of the chapters. You read the back cover. There are some information about the book on the back cover. So if you read the back cover information, you will see some information that will help you about what this book is talking about. If you check the index, you check the appendix at the end of the book, this is also going to help you to give you an idea about the book you are going to read. So overviewing the book is the first step that you should apply when you have an English book, when you have a new English book that you want to read. So in our case, if you bought Mosaic 1 reading, you need to read the title, get acquainted, get familiar with the authors, because probably they are going to appear in other courses, so you become a more academic student, a more professional student, a more English major student. We need to get into the culture of academic life and academic situations. This can be applied by applying the rules that I am talking about. Read the title of the book, the authors of the book, the table of the contents. You read the chapters, titles, and the subheadings of the chapters, and then just overview the pictures, and if you find anything interesting, stop at that interesting thing sorry, and read about it, just to have an idea about the book. Try to see the exercises, see whether they are easy to you or difficult to you. And there is a very nice Chinese proverb in the book. If you open chapter 1, it says, a person who cannot tolerate small difficulties can never accomplish great things. So if you face very little difficulties and you find them very difficult to you, you are not going to achieve anything. So try to tolerate small things to achieve great things. So if you find something difficult in the textbook, do not be sad. Things are going to be fine. Things are going to be easy, inshallah, if you follow me very carefully and if you listen to what I say. And I stress this to my students: listen very carefully to what I say, to what I do in the lecture, to the exercises that we do in the lectures, and you will find the final exam very easy inshallah. And students who studied with me, and probably most of you studied with me structure 1, and I think they found the same. When they followed my instructions very carefully, they achieved very high marks, A+ and A's. So this is the first step. Just have an overview and then ask. When you overview the book, you must have some questions in your mind. The first thing you would ask, is this book easy or difficult? What does it talk about? When you, for example, stop at the first chapter and see that's about America and American life, you are going to ask yourself some questions. For example, is this about the lifestyle in America? Is it about education in America? Is it about business in America? Is it about tourism in America? All of these questions are very important. Why? Because you are going to answer these questions while you are going to read. When you find the answer to your questions, it's something, it's going to ring a bell in your head, like din din. This is the answer of your question that you asked in the second stage of your reading. So if you have some questions, it's very important that you have these questions in your mind while you're reading, because when you read and find the answer, it's going to ring a bell in your head, and this information is going to stick in your mind, and you are not going to forget this very easily. Or read, as I said, when you read and find the answer of your questions, these information are going to stay for a long time. So when you read, you are going to apply the strategies that I am going to talk about in a minute. We have different strategies for reading to help us comprehend the text. And then W, write. If you have a very long textbook, or if you have a very long passage, try to write some information, some important information for you in the margins, or in your handouts, or in a separate paper. Why? Because these are going to summarize the main ideas. Imagine that you have a book of 200, a novel, or a play, or a short story, and you are asked to comprehend 200 pages or 100 pages. You are going to forget what's in page 1 when you reach page 10. So if you read some basic information about pages 1 to 10, when you reach the end, for example, you can remember and understand the information that you have read in the beginning. So if you write summaries, basic informations, main ideas, that's going to help you in reading. Evaluate. After you finish, try to evaluate yourself. How? Through the exercises in the book. And if the book does not have exercises, try to ask yourself questions. If it is, for example, a short story, try to ask yourself about the main ideas of the story, the theme of the story, the characters of the story, the ending, the climax, and etc. Just try to evaluate it yourself, especially if you are facing an exam or a test. You need to evaluate, and in this stage, this equals to studying. When you ask yourselves questions or try to memorize information, this step equals to that step. So after you overview, you ask yourself, you read, you find the answer, you write the main points, you ask yourself to evaluate whether you understood or not, and then in the exam you are going to test and get an A, if not an A plus. So if we apply this orbit, this is the general strategies for reading, and I think it's going to help us greatly. So as I said, under R, read, we are going to apply some strategies. The first one, reading without knowing every word. We want to read without stopping and then check our comprehension. If we did not comprehend the text, we are going to guess the meaning from context, and there are several strategies for that. If we, for example, do not know the meaning of the word, let's say, for example, the word industrial, for example, we can use the morphology. What do you mean by morphology? Morphology are the components of the word. For example, the word industrial consists of two words, industry and AL. The AL is called suffix, and we are going to be introduced to this next lecture, inshallah. So we can separate the word into its basic components to understand its meaning. If we know the meaning of industry, well then industrial is very easy to us. So sometimes we can use the morphology, sometimes we can use the part of speech to guess the meaning of the word. If we know it is a noun or an adjective, it can sometimes help us to inference the meaning. And there are several strategies that we are going to be introduced to us throughout the course. The third strategy that we need to apply is to understand or inference the main idea. Understanding and inferencing are two different things. Understanding, you understand something after you listen to it or you read it. You inference something, that means you need to very carefully read between the lines, try to synthesize, try to link information from different sources, from your knowledge, from the textbook, from your mental grammar, your mental lexicon, from different things, just to reach something. And sometimes there are some simple inferencing and difficult inferencing. Do not worry about these. We are going to be introduced to these, and I am going to explain them very thoroughly and very carefully to you, so you can understand the text. So now let's apply all of these strategies to our first passage or text on page 5. Chapter 1 starts from page 4, but our text starts on page 5. So we have the title, First Impressions. We are going to read without stopping at any single word, and if you find a difficult word, you have the dictionary. You need to consult your dictionary and you will find the answer. I have to remind you, now you are a 4th level English major students. You should help yourself by yourself. If we are going to translate or explain every single word, we are not going to finish the course. We are going to stay at this passage the whole course just to explain every single word. So first impressions, and we have a map of the US. So this is an overviewing of the text, and we can anticipate that this passage is going to talk about what? About the USA, about America, and says first impressions, and we have here size, and we have here climate, and below we have Americans in motions. I'm going to lower the cam after we reach it. So it talks about size, climate, Americans in motion. So definitely this is going to talk about America. So let's start with size. It's difficult to really experience or feel the size of the United States. Excuse me if I make a mistake, because it is too bright here. The light can bother me, and I cannot read very well. To get the full impact, you should realize, for example, that it takes 48 hours, 2 entire days and 2 long nights to travel by train from Chicago to Los Angeles, rolling along hour after hour across wheat fields, mountains, and deserts. Another way to think about it is to compare distances in the United States with others more familiar to you. For example, New York to Washington, D.C. is about the same as London to Paris, or Nairobi to Mombasa, or Tokyo to Kyoto, New York to Los Angeles is farther than Lisbon to Cairo, or Moscow to Montreal, or New Delhi to Rome. Climate. Naturally, with such distances, the climate in the continental United States is also one of great extremes. From New England and New York through Chicago and much of the Midwest and Northwest, temperatures vary from sub-zero in winter to the high 90s Fahrenheit or over in summer. The South and Southwest have warmer weather, though even these sections have occasional frosts and periods of moderate cold. Generally, summers are likely to range from 70 Fahrenheit to 100 Fahrenheit. Conditioning is so widespread that you can expect most office buildings and homes to be kept at relatively comfortable temperatures. Americans in motion. Americans are restless. There is a missing R here. We should add R here. It should be like this. Restless. There is a typo in the textbook, a mistake. Americans are restless. Most travel whenever they get the chance. They crowd into trains, buses, and planes in increasing numbers. They hike with packs on their backs or ride bicycles, heading for the mountains, seashore, or national parks. And then we have blunt speech. Don't think that Americans are being rude if we tend to speak in monosyllables or answer with a mere okay, sure, or nope, or greet you with hi. Our brevity is not a personal insult, though, to those accustomed to formal phrases, we seem blunt. American informality has become more desirable than formal expressions of greeting or farewell. A do-it-yourself society. The United States is a do-it-yourself country. We generally carry our own bags. Take our laundry to the laundromat, stand in line at the grocery store, or shine our own shoes. However, we may be lawyer, professor, bank president, or corporate executive. Anyone who can afford the high cost of service in this country and wants to pay for it may. But there is absolutely no social stigma in doing one's own daily chores, no matter how menial. In fact, Americans take pride in do-it-yourself accomplishments and may devote a great deal of their leisure time to projects around the home. Huge warehouse stores that cater to do-it-yourself tasks have been built throughout the country. Many Americans who could afford household help or a driver or a gardener do not employ them. They prefer family privacy, independence, and freedom from responsibility, all of which are at least partially lost when one has help in one's home. Houses interest Americans greatly. They spend much of their time thinking and reading and talking about the design of houses, their decorations, how to improve them. Many weekend hours are passed in do-it-yourself projects around the house. People also love to look at each other's houses, since they would thoroughly enjoy visiting and examining a house in another country. They assume that you will probably have the same desire. Don't be surprised, therefore, if you are shown the entire house from top to bottom, including bathrooms and closets. Do not make the mistake of refusing. The whole house may have been cleaned specially for you, because people in the United States have come from many nationalities. There is a far wider range of what is acceptable than in some countries where the inhabitants have grown up with a common heritage. As a result, no one needs to feel awkward or uncomfortable in following his or her own customs. Although Americans are noticeably informal, if you prefer somewhat greater formality, feel free to act in your own way. This will be acceptable to those around you. So for me, when I read this textbook, I had a first impression about America. First impression is the first idea, the first feeling that you get when you see something for the first time. So if I meet with for the first time, I should have a first impression about you, whether you are very kind, very rude, you are friendly, you laugh a lot, you don't laugh, you are not talkative. These are called first impression. So the first impression about America: size, it's very vast, very large. It's a content. A content is bigger than a country. A content. Check your dictionary to see the meaning of content and continental. So if you think about the size of America, and we want to compare it with Saudi, well, I think it's difficult. It's if we say the point of departure is Al-Ahsa, for example, it can be from Al-Ahsa to, for example, let's say to Tunis, Tunisia, or to Libya, for example. That's fast. I'm not good at geography, by the way, so excuse me. This is just to help you apply this information to your situation, to your daily life. Try to link the information with your current situation, with your life, so you get interested with the textbook. You get friendly with the textbook. Climate, we said it is the key word here. It is of great extremes. Extremes is something not in between, not moderate. Extremes, either to this way or either to that way. Very extreme. So sometimes we call terrorists extremists. Why extremists? Because they are not moderate, not in the middle. It is either to right or to the left. Very extreme, either very cold or very hot. So this is the meaning of of extremes. So the temperature varies from time to time. Americans in motion, they like to travel. They are not like us. They use buses, they use trains, they use planes. They sometimes use bicycles, motorcycles. Sometimes they use their feet. They walk a lot sometimes if they have to. Blunt speech, it's about being formal or informal. Formal is like saying, for example, how are you? I'm fine, thank you. These are the things that we learned in schools, the formal English. But Americans tend to be now informal. They say, for example, hey, informal, and they do not use, for example, how are you? I'm fine, thank you. It's rarely used. Use it with strangers, but with friends, with family, you say, for example, hey, okay, sure, nope. These short phrases, these words are largely used in the American lifestyle, in American speech, and it's called brevity. Brevity means short thing. I do not talk very long to express just one idea. No, I am very brief. The word brevity comes from the word brief, very short. So if you say it very shortly, it is called blunt speech. The next paragraph, it's about a do-it-yourself society. They do everything by themselves. They do not rely heavily on workers, like they do not go a lot to barbers, to gardeners, to plumbers. They do things by themselves. They want to redecorate their houses. They do this by themselves. They paint the walls. They buy the furniture, and they assemble the furniture if it needs assembly. So they like to do things by themselves. So this is why it is called a do-it-yourself society. In our society, we tend to rely on other people, but this is different in the American society. Also, they like to, since they spent a lot of time building their houses or decorating their houses, they like to show them to anybody, actually. And sometimes they clean the house if they have a visitor, and they expect from you the same when they visit your house or your home, to show them your house, probably from top to bottom. And the last paragraph talks about the heritage of the US. They come from different nationalities, and this causes the diversity in the culture of the American people, diversity in their thinking, diversity in their lifestyle. So now let's check our understanding by doing this exercise, recalling information. We are going to give the letter T if the sentence is true, is correct, and we are going to write F if the sentence is false, not correct. So the first one is done for us. Let's do number 2. Its continental climate is basically moderate. He's talking about the US. The US continental climate is basically moderate. No, this is not true, so we are going to put F, because we have talked about climate and it is of a great extremes, not moderate. Number 3, its people are not very active and spend most of their time reading books. Also F, because we said Americans are restless. Restless means they do not have any rest time. They do not rest at home. They always work, either in their jobs or in their houses, fixing things or going for shopping, or going for hikes, or going for picnics. So number 3, F. Number 4, they are rude and like to insult others with simple direct words. No, we did not say they. We did not say this. We said they use very simple words, very short words, because they speak informally. But this is not rude. If they say, for example, to you, okay, for example, you ask them, do you like some coffee? And they said, sure. Do not think this is rudeness. No, this is their lifestyle. They speak very shortly. So it is F. Americans are very interested in their homes and love to show them off, even to people they do not know very well. Yes, we said this. This is true. So number 5, true. We said American people like to show their homes to other people. And you see this under Americans in motion. Americans spend a lot of time thinking and talking about projects to fix up their homes. Yes, we said this. We said they spend a lot of time if they want to build or fix their homes, and you find this under the 5th paragraph, a do-it-yourself society. They send their servants to huge warehouse stores to buy decorations for their houses. No, we said they go by themselves. They do it themselves. They are a do-it-yourself society. So they do it by themselves. They do not send anybody to the stores to buy things for them. So this number 7 is F. Number 8, Americans come from many different nationalities. Yes, this is true. This is in the last paragraph. We said they come from different nationalities, so it is true. They generally prefer formality and do not like people to be informal. No, this is false. So this is just a recap of the information that we did in the that we read in the textbook. The last thing that we are going to be introduced to is the vocabulary exercise. We have blunt, which is B. We have stigma, means negative mark. Ledger means not working. Yes. Chores, it means tasks. Menial means low. Thoroughly means completely. Assume means believe. Refusing, saying no. Heritage, history, and tradition. This is just to help you with the most important difficult words. This is for today, and hopefully next time we will talk more about this chapter, inshallah. Thank you and good luck.